I know you'd mentioned early on in solving like the marketing problem, because I know it's so funny. We've had such strong parallels, because I think when somebody's starting out, they're trying to figure out how to get the phone to ring. So all they're interested in hearing about is marketing, which I think you and I at this point say, well, that's not the most interesting problem to solve. I mean, yes, you need to solve it. The phone needs to ring, but it's like after you solve that problem, that's when things get really interesting.
Yeah. So which part of that do you want me to address? So, I mean, the marketing and advertising problem is how do I show up differently? So if I'm going to play in the pond of TV advertising, just to use that as a media example, I better show up differently from all the other people, especially because most of the other people are going to have more money than I am. So I choose the pond, the media pond I'm going to play in, and then I better show up differently. So many of the lawyers that I coach, and certainly we have been good at that, is we play in the pond of grassroots marketing, of being the best personal injury lawyer at our CrossFit gym, of supporting the local community, of being famous soccer referee who improves the sportsmanship. That's a place where Brian and I love to play, because we're not going to go compete against, I'm in the DC market, right? Against the lawyers who are spending literally millions of dollars a month on TV advertising. Those aren't our clients, frankly. And that's not the problem I want to play in. So it's figuring out, how do I show up differently? Number two, we spend all this money to generate a call or a web fill or whatever, and then Sally can't answer the phone. I don't have a dedicated phone answerer with a script who can sell the practice, who can sell the idea that you've made a great decision, Michael, to call Ben Glass Law. And so lawyers, they skip over that part completely. They wonder, how come my website isn't working? Well, gee, I tried to refer a big case out to a state out in the Midwest, filled out their web form, heard nothing. Big firm, famous lawyers, I called them, I got voicemail. Hey, leave your message, we'll get back to you. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, how can this be in 2023? But then, we can solve that, because again, it takes some work, but there's well-established processes for getting more leads and then getting the leads to convert once they call. Then the challenge is, especially in 2023, big challenge is building the team, like hiring, retention, right? People talk about all the millennials, whatever, don't want to work, which I think is BS, right? When Brian and I thought deeply about this a couple of years ago, and we thought, well, why do we even exist? Why are we taking this risk? We batted around, Michael, the traditional lawyer thought, for justice, to get clients the money they deserve, all that. We said, no. We actually run this place to build a place where people will thrive, okay? Because we want to have an organization, again, where the owners will thrive, where it's worth the risk and it's fun for us. Number two, where the team thrives. So the best benefit that we can give to a team member is to hire other great team members that they like to come to work on Monday and work with. That's like the best thing. And every time a business owner and a lawyer tolerates non-superstars, and you can go through a fix-it program, right? But if you tolerate that, you're saying to the rest of the team, I don't respect you. I'm not really concerned about making you better, and I'm not concerned about making this the best place you'll ever work. So just think about that. And we tolerate stuff out of fear that there's no one else out there who want to come. And that's wrong. You build a place with great culture, your team's out recruiting. Like, I want you to be so good you could leave and compete with me, but you want to stay and you want to go bring some friends over. And every time our paralegals, Michael, go out to paralegal events, those rooms are filled with miserable people. I mean, people who are miserable because of the workplace, not they're miserable people, but they hate their job. They hate the people they work with. Like, come on over here. Mm-hmm. And that's frankly, the harder skill, because you have to be a human being who knows how to communicate. You have to not just put core values on the wall. You have to live core values every day. You have to treat people the way you are asking them to treat others, because it's just like when you're a parent. You've got little ones, right? Yours are young, but if you tell your kiddos, two girls?
Yep, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Yeah, so they get a little bit older, and you tell them one thing, and they watch you and your wife do something different, to treat the barista unkindly, to get mad at the person who's driving down the road. They're like, well, mom and dad don't really believe what they're saying. And so that becomes, and those are soft skills. But the lawyers who I know who are attracting good talent, even in this talent-thin world, I got lawyers in our groups who are building great teams. And the people stay, right? It's because they're living, those lawyers are living authentic, value-ridden, principle-driven lives. Again, they don't teach you this in law school. You can't go to one seminar and learn, and listen to Tony Robbins once and listen, but you listen to these people and read these books of people who've built great businesses. This is the secret. It's the people. Everything else becomes easier.